What is a share? Why should you have a share in any business? We make the assumption, of course, always that everyone understands what it is to own shares, but not everybody does. Warren Ingram, who's a certified financial planner, whose day job it is to explain this to people, which is why we have him here. What is a share? Why should we own it?
Maybe to start with why we own it or why we should own it, it gives us the opportunity when we buy shares to participate in growth that great managers of great businesses will be getting from their businesses, their companies over long periods of time. So it's about taking a little bit of money and becoming a small shareholder in a business where you believe that business is going to do well over a long period of time. The key with shares is that they tend to move in massive roller coaster rides. So we will be, talking about shares today and feel around the dinner table that we're heroes because our shares that we've put in a little while ago at 100 are now worth 300, and we are masters of the universe. And then the next, it won't be a dinner party, but the next time we're sitting around in the fast food joint because we can't afford a dinner party and our shares are now worth 50, we'll be bemoaning the fact that nobody ever makes money from the stock market.
So when we are looking at shares, and there are a billion ways of valuing shares, and there are many millions of people employed around the world to look at each and every single company individually and to figure out whether or not it's worth investing in. I would go, and I don't know about you, Warren, but I would go. But the first thing I would do, and this is kind of a long-term project, I would go and read Warren Buffett biography, The Snowball. It feels like a slightly weird way to go about how to invest in shares, but before I bought a single share, I would read that book.
There is another great book called One Up on Wall Street by Peter Lynch. And I think the combination of the two would give you a very good idea of how to think about shares as a principle, and then how one of the all-time great mutual fund managers actually chose shares and both when to buy and when to sell. And understanding that, share investing, there are many different ways to do it, but investing a bit of time to read those books and maybe a couple more would either make you a lot of money over the next few decades or cost you a lot of money if you don't do the work. So invest the time, read the books, and then thank us later.
I would go for Snowball first, forgive me, simply because it's a story about a very successful investor. It's written by a third party about his thinking and his process. And if you don't have the patience to sit down and read the Snowball, I don't think you should be investing in shares at all, Warren. Controversial, but go.
No, I think that's absolutely right. There are very few of us that have the time and inclination to actually do the homework to choose individual shares and to then monitor them and do enough reading to get an understanding of the dynamics of that company's. Remember, you're not buying a piece of paper or you're not buying a ticker on a screen. You're buying a share in a business that operates in a particular economy with enormous dynamics that move that business around. You have to be ready to do the homework constantly to understand that. If you're not, go and buy a mutual fund, go and buy an exchange-traded fund, and listen to everyone else talk about it when they're buying shares and making or losing money. They won't talk about the losses. They'll just talk about the profits.
Certified financial planner, Warren Ingram at Galileo Capital.